Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome to the Ribblecast. Recently, we had the opportunity to talk to Mr. Snowflake and Jimmy Bunker, men with excellent facial hair and mustaches. But now, someone's come along who's completely changed the game. A younger, more sexy version of the Iron Sheik, if you will. I'm joking, and you're laughing, and you're ruining my intro. That being said, before we had Skulls on, and I had a blast talking to her, but the person we talked about the majority of was Andy, her partner. Andy is the sweetest, kindest, supportive partners anybody could have. He is the other half of the Skulls picture, and it wouldn't be right if we didn't do that justice. So today, I have the pleasure and the honor of welcoming back Skull, but also Andy.
Hi, everyone.
Way to blow the doors off.
So I wanted to talk to you, Andy, from the jump, and let's go back. When I first saw Skulls on TikTok, I was like, oh my God, she's funny. She's hilarious. How does someone do this? But there was a particular TikTok that came out, and it humanized you as a person. You weren't just this character who was and Luigi's. You were a human being who had tics, who faces her issues, but she didn't face them alone. And we joked about how there was somebody back there going, hey, okay. And in that video, Andy, you came out and you were just saying, let's do this. Let's talk about it. Let's not hide. But you've been hiding, sir. You've been hiding behind, and no one's seen you. Who is Andy?
Who is Andy? Everyone's favorite guest star, apparently.
Yeah, that's for sure. Everyone's favorite boyfriend.
It's a role that I've embraced happily and lovingly. The TikTok that you're speaking of, that was a wonderful organic moment that happened to take place while Sylvia had her camera rolling. In the course of doing what she does, sometimes she sets it up and lets it roll and then tries to capture a bunch of footage and then boils it down, content creation. But that event just happened to take place while that camera was on. And so it captured that real moment. And afterwards, noticing that, she was like, hey, do you think we should post this? Would you be okay if I posted this? And it's
because you helped me so much in that video. And I thought that if hearing you say what you were saying was helping me feel uplifted and strong and supportive, then maybe someone else can feel good about that too, right? Or it'll help someone else feel validated with the way that they process things and think about that topic. And so,
and the other aspect is back then you were still sort of dialing in your personal brand identity. And
definitely, yeah.
The stuff that people reacted to the most positively was the stuff that was the most organic, the most real.
Yeah.
And so to share that's because you hit the nail on the head. A lot of today's content creation is centered around this sort of forced characterization.
Yeah.
Generate a bit, create a meme, punchline centric. And sometimes it can work if you've got a really creative writer behind it that's driving it. But I think a lot of people are hungry for that real, organic, empathetic connection to a person. So it could still be a parasocial relationship, but you want to feel like you're watching someone like you or someone that you could see in your world. Someone it's not that precipice sort of celebrities. It's like, I feel like we'd be friends. That's why I like watching these videos. Yeah. We noticed first in all of our YouTube subscriptions, that sort of quality. And so that more and more has also shaped what Sylvia generates. And so a lot of her reality is me hanging around.
So you got to be comfortable.
A part of that is we see Sylvia come on TikTok when she can't get a hold of you at work.
Okay, Andy, all right.
Can you what?
Can I pull the curtain back on that a little bit?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah.
That one is a little bit of a bit.
It's based on reality. He sometimes does not answer his text messages, and the first couple times I had this what if I just make a TikTok that addresses exactly what he's not answering? And I did it, and you thought it was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And so now when he doesn't respond to a text in time, it doesn't matter. I'll take that topic and I'll make a bit of it in a TikTok, even if he does end up responding, I still end up posting it because fuck it, it's funny. And like, you weren't responding to this topic anyway. And so while that's not 100% like live in the moment,
but it came from something.
Those topics are still very real things that he has not responded to.
Yeah, I work in a.
He's very busy during the day.
I got you. I got you.
I'm on a team that's called up to prevent production line downages at a high profile technology company.
Yeah.
So we've got about that the original TikTok we saw. How did you meet?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Sylvia and I met as coworkers.
Yeah.
At a previous position for a company called Big Fish Games.
Okay.
They made iPad games for your mom. Is the headline for it. It's a genre that they basically invented called hidden object picture adventure games.
Yeah.
And it's like a half I Spy, half mystery novel.
Yeah.
And
I got hired on to work there in 2016, and Andy and I officially met. Like, I put my hand out to shake his hand and meet him January 7th of 2019. But so it took 3 years for me to be like, oh, hi, dude. Apparently he had the biggest office crush on me for years. He knew who I was years before I knew who he was. And
I want you to know, when you go back and watch this, I want you to know, as you're saying this, he's definitely twisting the mustache. Like, that's right.
That's right. So like from a distance, he would admire me. All of his friends, once I befriended him and then befriended his friends, would tell me like, oh, Sylvia, Andy would like talk about you nonstop whenever you would walk by our table at lunch or walk away on a break. He'd be like, God, that goth girl's so hot, and like I'm so scared of her though. Like I was the spooky, intimidating like punk girl in the office because I dress the way I dress and I walk with a purpose. And he would always fuck me from a distance. And then I noticed him because I noticed one day that this guy who was on the same floor as me, only a few like office pods away from me, was being really loud and passionate about something. He was like arguing, I think, with your manager at the time about some process that just wasn't fitting the bill for you. And I looked over and I saw him, and he had this, his big, beautiful blue eyes from a distance. And I was like, oh, that guy's really cute and like mad. I like that. And so then one day at in the morning, your friend, who I was friends with, was at the coffee machine, and Andy was tagging along with his buddy at the coffee machine. And I noticed, I'm like, oh, that's that cute guy. Oh my gosh. So I was talking to your friend. You're meanwhile just silent, just like staring ahead, like not making eye contact with me, not even noticing. Like, I'm like, why is he not like looking at me and trying to chime in on the conversation?
Terror.
And then, so I leave, I get my coffee and I'm walking away. And I'm like, well, fuck this shit. I want to know who this guy is. So I hear you walking behind me, and I just stop in the middle of the hallway. I turn around and I go, hi, I'm Sylvia. Who are you? And you just, I'm Andy. You like freak out. I'm like, cool. And I walk away. And then you check back with me on Slack at work, because we used Slack at the time for our team chat.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, this is that Andy guy. And I'm like, yes, I got him. He messaged me.
Got him.
And then it just went from there.
Yeah. So I can definitely relate to Andy. I keep to myself unless I get really passionate about something. I'm always look, I have that complex where I'm here to do the job. I'm a team player, but when you start fucking with the team, then I'm going to tell you you're fucking with the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I can appreciate that.
Oh,
and
yeah. He's a very
being
passionate
shy.
boy.
I liked my best friend. Like I liked her. We were, but I couldn't say anything. And it was just sheer luck that we love you. Like I said,
we ended up together. Yeah.
But like you don't want to say anything because like that's the ultimate rejection when you really dig somebody and it's like, come on,
what do I do? Yeah.
So I get that.
As much as it's Sylvia's agency that's responsible for the initial conversations, we like to talk about how the universe gave us a little push together. At the time, we were both in really unhappy, unhealthy relationships.
Horrible
ways.
relationships. And like, you know, to be frank, and I think I talked about this really briefly before. Technically, ostensibly, Andy and I had an affair, but like, I was in a dead relationship. You were in a dead relationship. You were already trying to leave. I was already trying to leave. Fuck that noise. Yeah. I mean, there's this whole stigma around like, oh, well, if you were unfaithful, then you're a bad person. I wasn't unfaithful in a happy relationship. I was in an abusive relationship where the dude was like verbally, physically, sexually assaulting me constantly. It wasn't a relationship.
Throw out all the stigmas. Are you happy?
Oh yeah. We were
fuck anybody else who tries to tell you different. Fuck
blast it off. Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's so
I'm not. Yeah, no.
It's just strange because like sometimes I'll mention like people will ask me like, how did you and Andy meet? And I'll tell them the story, and then I'll also tell them the bit where it's like, and I was technically in a relationship, and he was technically in a relationship, and then sometimes I'll get like a stink eye, but it's like, you want the truth, like you want the truth. That's how we felt. That's how some people really do meet, is that they're in a shit relationship
and
they meet someone else and they're like, oh my God, I need to get out of this situation because this is so much better. That's just the reality of love and life.
A lot of it was, you know, the way that we met and we're there to support each other with the hurt that we saw the other going through forced both of us to sort of look at things in a mirror.
Yeah.
I had been sort of asleep. I had retracted deep within myself. I lived to just avoid conflict and accept my lot in life. I thought I was stuck where I was. And so I had become a doormat man. And I was every stereotype you could think of, hold the purse at the dressing room, but none of them in a good romantic way. I was used as an accessory. And
there's so much more I want to say
there's a
right
lot
now. Oh my God.
But what it was being there for Sylvia and to articulate how unhappy she was and how unfulfilling her relationship was. It woke me up. I am not the same person that I was before I met her in a very literal sense. And that's part of the romance that kicked off the whole.
Yeah.
I was and I don't candidly talk about stuff like this because I usually just stay the host, but I feel for you so much because I was 530 pounds. I was miserable. Everybody knew that I cared in my marriage at the time, and I was just miserable. And I ballooned up. I was content with just being a lap dog and like, yes, ma'am, I do this, whatever.
Yeah.
And then when I got divorced, I thought that was the end of life. I was like, ugh. And then I have a friend who just comes along and literally breathes life back into me. And I lost 200, about 200 pounds because and like I've never we before I was talking to y'all, we were playing Fallout 76 because that's what we do. We spend time in the game. We do all this. I didn't know that you could have a partner who could, but that's the point. That's why I wanted Andy here. Yeah. Before we get to that rest of that good stuff, recently y'all went through a bit of a trying time. Andy, you're a strong man. Whether you don't say a lot, but this and that. But for the first time in your TikToks, I saw that you were weak. You had, but it's okay. And Sylvia, let's talk about that. What you can talk about. Tell me what happened in the process of going through that.
Yeah. So we were faced. Do you want to start with that? I was just going to start from like my perspective and like why I even made that TikTok. But go ahead. You got it.
Well, it's the same unhealthy relationship, though it ended years ago. And it ended again officially years ago.
Yeah.
Legally, I'm still fighting to be free of the last vestiges of that entanglement. My previous partner has been at every opportunity using delay tactics to run out the clock, avoid deadlines, and they come from more of a position of financial stability than I do.
Somebody's got rich mom and dad who just pays for fucking everything because a pretty little princess apparently can't be bothered with having a struggling life.
Not everybody look. Some people are jealous of the mustache. Some people just they can't go on another mustache, right?
But so the general vibe has just been playing chicken because the assumption is that I'll have to swerve first, and I don't like the way that it's extended beyond anything that feels like me paying for my mistakes, and it has gone well into affecting our ability to live a comfortable, happy life together.
Yeah.
And the whole time I just, to be frank, have argued for a separation that leaves both parties able to move forward in their chosen direction.
Oh yeah. This entire time
I've never tried to harm my previous partner. I don't want to take from her. I don't want anything but to walk away. And
amicably at that.
Yeah. And that's not something that she's offered. And
that's not something she fucking deserves either. Andy is a fucking angel. Is an angel.
Into that part, okay, Sylvia. What made you what was the breaking point for you to make that post?
There was a legal agreement that was not lawyer based between she and I originally to make a division of assets and do this walking away. And what turned everything was when she spoke to a lawyer.
Bitch lied. Like literally backstab, lied. I pride myself in making promises, keeping them. I pride myself in speaking as genuinely as I can. I pride myself in being very upfront. When somebody doesn't do that, when somebody is conniving and mischievous and two-faced, ooh, that
especially to someone that you care about as much as you do Andy.
Oh my God. Yeah. And the fact, like, they lied and manipulated, and then at the very last second pulled the rug out from under Andy and was like, actually, all those things that we agreed to and talked about, I'm gonna say aren't real. Like, bitch, I saw the emails in which you were agreeing with him, and now you're gonna take that to a lawyer and said that never happened, and then use the court system
regardless of the details which can't be discussed.
All
of the details which can't be discussed. Regardless of that, both of us secured legal counsel, and it became a legal proceeding, which just costs a lot of money no matter how you do it. And I was handling that myself as my own burden until an entire 9-hour day of mediation failed. And it was a grueling process of me offering compromise after compromise after compromise, and the other party showing no interest in any kind of agreeable discourse, to the point that the mediator was even like, I don't know what else to tell you. I've explained everything, and they just seem to be rejecting it.
So now it's just petty. It has nothing to do.
Yeah. And at the end of that, my lawyer essentially just shrugged at me and was like, well, if the mediation didn't work, then we have to go to trial. And my trial retainer is X dollars. It was $25,000 in this case, which is just like a monolith number for me. Yeah. I don't, I'm an adult. I take responsibility for my own past decisions, but I am not currently a person who has a lot in the savings account. I go paycheck to paycheck, a lot more than a guy in his late 30s should. But that's the reality right now. And so this $25,000 was just this devastating shutdown. I didn't know what to do in the face of it. I had no options, and I just started to sort of crumble emotionally.
Yeah, and I was feeling that too. And I woke up one day and I was like, man, I don't feel like posting anything. I don't feel like making content. I'm feeling super low. I'm feeling super dejected.
Because he's your light. He's a big inspiration. When you a lot of your TikTok, especially the most popular TikToks you have, are because of you, Andy. Andy, you're a big deal. You are a big deal.
And so I thought, I was like, hey, I'm just going to let my viewers know that I think I'm going to take a break because I'm feeling a lot of stress, and I'm just going to let them know why and what's going on as vague as much as I can. And so when I said at the end of that TikTok, I'm like, we're going through this and it's really stressful. I think I'm going to step back because I'm not in a happy place right now. It's like $26,000 that we can't afford, that Andy can't afford right now. So it's stressful. And then a bunch of people in the comments were like, make a GoFundMe, make a GoFundMe, make a GoFundMe. And I texted Andy and I'm like, Andy, how would you feel if I make a GoFundMe?
Pause.
Because people want to help apparently.
And I'm guessing Andy, because I think you and I can't ask for people for that. I can't do that. I can't. I'm like, look, this is my issue. I can't ask other people.
He was so torn because, on one hand, it feels nice to be helped. And it was an amazing, like, even just the words, like, make a GoFundMe, I want to help. It was like, wow, people really do care. And then at the same time, you're like, man, I don't want to burden anybody. And like, isn't it kind of embarrassing? And I think I'm the one that kind of ultimately pulled the trigger and was like, fuck it. I don't care. I'm not going to be embarrassed to ask for help. Why would I need help, and we need help. You need help. So let me ask for help.
The beautiful thing about that, and like Andy, I think you and I have that Vegeta complex where this is my pride. I mean, I'm a fucking Saiyan. This is my pride. The new tattoo, the new Vegeta tattoo.
We've been talking about Dragon Ball Z for days now. We were just, because I've never actually watched the entirety of it. I know, right?
I know.
He's a huge fan. I would love to watch it. So we've been talking about wanting to watch it together.
It's one of those where there's so much
500 episodes.
Yeah.
She'll love Vegeta. She'll be all about Vegeta life.
That's what he said.
Kind of my thinking. Yeah, we'll see.
But
yeah, so
his pride, your pride, like, I mean, that's a big deal. Like, and I get that, but there's an old phrase that goes, "Pride comes before the fall."
Yeah,
and it's hard.
Yeah,
and Andy, as an outside person looking in, right? Like, we've just met. This is the first time, like 5 minutes ago, well, 20 minutes ago, let's be honest, we've had our first words together. All I know you is from TikTok and from Sylvia.
Yeah,
you are a good man.
Yeah,
you're a good man, and the thing is, I don't think she would waste her time on you and be as passionate about you if you weren't a good man. Another quote.
Very well put.
Another quote. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. It's okay. It's okay. And what I loved most about this story is, in 48 hours, less than that?
Oh, in 22 hours and 36 minutes, we reached our goal of $26,000. It was insane. I didn't expect, I was like, okay, I'll set what the goal is, which is that retainer amount. And I thought to myself, like, any amount is going to help. That would be wonderful. I genuinely thought that we would raise maybe like a couple $1,000s, which would still be amazing, because yay, awesome, we can help pay for part of it. But the fact that it just started trickling in, and people were sharing it across Facebook, across their Twitter, in like grandma groups on Facebook. Like, there were like mothers of divorced sons is like some Facebook group that literally shared his thing. So dudes, moms were helping him, and like that, we don't know. It was crazy. And we had donors that were, I think our highest donation was somebody anonymous who just donated $2,000. Like, and we had a bunch of people who donated $1,000, $500, a few $100s. And then the majority of it were people that were just putting in $5 here and there. And like, that little bit fucking helps. It all added up into this mountain. Like,
it was a many layered experience.
Yeah.
I'm still honestly processing it. It might be the most significant thing that's ever happened in my life.
But the most beautiful thing about it is that you established that you aren't greedy people, because you said whatever you got, y'all were going to donate it to a charity I was like, wow, like, you're genuine people. And
the weird thing is too, is that there were so many folks, like, after we reached our goal, and I was like, yo, we reached our goal, thank you everybody. I closed the donate, because apparently on GoFundMe you can like close donations right when you're done. So I did that like nearly immediately. And then I got comments from people going like, oh my gosh, and you closed the donation after you got everything. Like, how much more genuine can you be? And it's like, wait, people don't just close the donation, they just keep collecting money. Why would you? Why the fuck? That's so weird and messed up. Like, I'm not gonna ask for more. Stop.
That's the other thing. Right? It's been really rewarding for both of us to go out into social media and just sort of be ourselves, because I'm struggling to say this in a humble way, but we repeatedly just behave in a way that seems natural to us. Yeah. And then people are like, oh my gosh, you did X.
Yeah.
It is rewarding because it makes us feel great about who we are, but it's also kind of fucking sad because it forces you to acknowledge how much of that, like, Mr. Rogers' goodness is absent from the world.
That has been really strange for me too. Yeah, where it's like, I just behave in a way that I think is cool and fine, and that people find that amazing, while I'm like, wow, that's so cool. I'm so glad that I can be that light in somebody's day. Also, how many shitty people are there in the world that me just having like common courtesy and manners is amazing? Like,
it really highlights what we need, I think, as a society.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a very humbling experience to find that human decency is a rarity in this world, but it's also a beautiful thing to see that there's still hope and there's still some
sure,
the human spirit, that people would come out of nowhere to do that. And again, you seem happier, you seem, and whatever the outcome may be, I'm so proud that you did that, and I'm glad that you took the mantle up, because I told you this before. Behind, you heard the expression, behind every good man is a good woman.
Yeah.
I can't stand that expression. I feel like it should be beside every good man is a good woman.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And
version. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, and I speak to this to myself because I know very well how this works. There are days that I am a detriment to myself, and I will tear myself down trying to carry the load.
Totally.
But you were willing, like I said, you two are simpatico. Like goes back. Let's go full circle back to the first TikTok I talked about. You were having a moment, and he was there. He was the shoulder you needed.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he was doing the same thing, and you were right there. You were guns a blazing, and you're ready to go.
Yeah. We definitely feed off of each other really well, and what's the word? Complement each other very well.
I was going to say codependent.
Oh, I know, and we're codependent. It's kind of unhealthy.
I get that.
Yeah.
The beauty of you coming together. The last time I mentioned, hey, maybe you start a gaming channel. And you're like, oh, maybe I'm going to, and you did.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Power Up couple.
Yeah.
What was the start of that? What made you want to do that? And Andy, where the hell have you been this whole time? Where's Mr. like influential talking and just super entertaining Andy?
Oh my gosh, stop.
Yeah. I think longer than you have been a very big fan of like Let's Play gaming channels, Game Grumps.
Because you showed up and you stalked Danny Sexbang.
I fucking love them. And so like one of the first ways that Andy and I, what's it called? Bonded. Thank you. Was sharing media that we like to consume, and I was like, hey, I'm really into YouTube channels and Let's Plays. Take a look at these guys, and I showed him Game Grumps, and then you started to like Game Grumps, and you were kind of familiar with them a little bit before, like you've heard of them, but yeah. And so like I've always really liked Let's Plays. I did Let's Plays on my own years ago, in my early 20s. I had my little YouTube channel that got pretty, not like huge, but I had a few thousand followers. I had a couple back then when it was easier to get monetized. I had a couple videos that were monetized, and then I stopped doing that, and I always wanted to get back into it. You dabbled a little bit.
There is a YouTube channel out there that is my early attempts at game streaming. It's mostly Fallout 4. And
good man.
Yep. And I had a playthrough called Drunk Cosplay Mom. I had to consume all liquor. I was obsessed with collecting Grognak the Barbarian memorabilia and weapons and gear. And I think there's like 4 hours uploaded. It never really went anywhere. It was my first attempt to sort of get comfortable in front of any kind of audience. And I didn't have the inset video. It was just game footage with no voice over. It was just my video of my gameplay.
Yeah.
Because as much as I've wanted to do stuff like that, I've struggled a lot with stage fright, and the mechanism of it for me is rooted in what feels like a high standard of quality and perfectionism.
Oh my God.
I will sit forever on step one, waiting for step one to feel perfect as the reason that I never proceed to step two.
Yeah.
So I messaged Sylvia, and I said there was something I wanted to talk to her about. I guess this is a perfect time to talk about how it was because of you that I started saying fuck it. So I changed the logo branding. It was not anything different to what it was before when we first talked. That was because one of the reasons was I said fuck it. I'm tired of trying to please everybody. I think this looks fucking sick. I'm going to use this. Okay. I made this cool. To speak to Andy's point, I've tried. I'm not good on the technical side, but someone is. she's really good at the technical side of things, and it was because of her that we turned the channel around and started doing the things that we wanted to do and stopped trying to please everybody else. Well, are you ready to? We can come together. And I was so afraid of doing things on my own that I was destroying myself.
Right.
But I needed to go to her, just like y'all two coming together. I think it's and before we move on, Shuri, Piper, or Kate, Andy.
Ooh. Hold on.
Are those romance options?
They're companions in Fallout 4.
They are, aren't they?
Which one's the French robot that you could
Curie.
put into the body? Yeah, Curie.
Yeah.
Curie was definitely my girl.
I went with Kate. I like a broken former drug addict who wanted to beat my ass.
Okay. Yeah, she's tough. I remember
Is
her.
that Piper?
No, Piper's the annoying investigative journalist.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. I played Fallout 4 briefly.
Who's the best companion though? Is
Which one?
Hamilton?
That's
The ghoul who likes doing drugs and
Hancock. That's my boy.
I
Hancock.
love him. He reminds me of you. That's
I could see that. I could.
Dude, okay, so like growing up, I have always been infatuated. When I had crushes on other people, I always loved the really scoundrelly, like roguish. They always have something quippy to say, and they're clever, and they're always like they have some kind of tragic backstory, and they're always beautiful and broken.
traumatized men.
Yeah, it's you. It's always been you.
See, but his mustache is the villainy mustache. So
I know, right? Or you're just
I swear I'm trying to make it curl down. It just
you're
doesn't.
the river. What's it called? The river gambler guy. What are they? What was there was
Doc Holliday?
We got a comment on one of our
Huckleberry.
Yeah, on one of our TikToks saying
That was a formative film growing up. That's my favorite compliment to receive now, by the way.
that you look like Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We had a comment that said that you look like a
riverboat
riverboat gambling riverboat gambling captain or something like that. Yeah, and I was like, I dig it. Hell yeah.
It's all.
He could have been in the movie Maverick. He could have been.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
But yeah, no, and then Power Up Couple just came to be because like I finally found the time to animate a intro for what I thought would be a cool intro to a channel for us, and then I wanted that to become a real thing. So then I was like, Andy, find all of the best gear for us for streaming, and I'll just buy it, and then we can set it up and start streaming. And he's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. So then
as soon as it was a hardware infrastructure project in my area of expertise, then wheels started turning.
Yeah.
And this is also heavily influenced by our therapist.
Oh yeah.
Who's long been urging me to continue to guest star as a means of slowly creeping into an active role in creating things, and to work on my stage fright by letting Sylvia drag me onto the stage.
And whenever sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Whenever we play video games, I always have such a blast because not only is the game fun that we're playing together, but we also have really good banter. We've always had, Andy and I have always had really good banter, regardless of scenarios. Like when we go to parties or when we hang out with friends or when we play games with friends, everyone's always having such a blast around us. And they say, because we're so entertaining to like be around. So I thought like, well, why not just capture the easiest thing to do? Because we play games anyway. So why not just record when we do and then just put it up and see where it goes? And people seem to really like it because we are genuinely just having fun together. And like,
it's like you're making it. Okay, so if we go back, right, Game Grumps, we're talking John Tron era.
Oh, fuck John Tron, though. I mean, sorry about that, but I'm not a fan of that guy.
But when it started, it was good because it was them being them.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I had an original gaming channel before I started doing interviews and all that, and it was the best one I ever did was Undertale, because I actually broke down crying playing Undertale.
Undertale! Oh my god, yeah.
Azrael, when you fight Azrael, if you haven't played Undertale by now, spoilers, whatever.
Yeah.
But Azrael, just that it ripped my heart out. I was like, oh
yeah.
But the ones that I enjoyed the most, we would play Friday the 13th together with friends. And the ones I loved were Trips and I would play Resident Evil 5 and talk shit the entire time.
Nice.
Sheva.
Chris.
I became yes. She's laughing right now. I became Muscles McRedfield,
Yes.
and she became Shovel.
Show.
And she couldn't stand Jill, and she's like, "I hate that bitch. She left you, and you're over here." It was just a whole argument.
Yeah.
We ended up calling. She goes, "I was like, so what? You don't even know what BSAA means?" She goes, "The Bureau of Science and Aliens," and like we just like.
Mhm.
But it was so much fun, and like
Yeah.
the reason I like watching y'all is because it reminds me of her and I playing. And I bet there's
Aw.
hundreds of thousands of people that watch you and go, "Me and my girlfriend do that. Me and my
Mm.
best friend do that." And
Yeah, yeah.
y'all, you know, YouTube is a hard gig to get into. I mean,
It
you
is.
master the TikTok art, I'll give you that. But you know, y'all play like y'all have 50 million subs and you're having a good time, but it doesn't matter because you're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's the other thing too is when it comes to content creation, I always try to go at it as like I'm having fun. I'm going to put this together and put it up, and when I rewatch it, I laugh and I have a good time again, and like whatever, we'll see where it goes. And very slowly, like YouTube, like you said, YouTube is pretty hard to crack. That's a difficult one to like gain traction on. But in the short time that we've had our channel, we're already a little past 800
Bitching.
subscribers, which is fucking great. That's
Absolutely.
cool. And like maybe by next year we'll be past a few thousand, you know, and then we'll finally be able to start getting monetized and stuff like that. But again, the goal of it isn't to get famous
it's not
or to
about
make
that.
money. The goal of it is to just have fun, and then all the other things, if you're like really just having fun, is gonna fall into place. It's only a matter of time before something picks up, someone features you who's bigger than you, someone wants to interview you who's big. Like it'll just take off organically, you know. And so
And
yeah.
it's about like it's not a job for y'all. It's y'all just doing what y'all normally do and having fun.
Yeah. That's definitely. I mean, the amount of time that content creation has taken up for me, it kind of it doesn't necessarily feel like a job, but
It's a solid side gig.
but it definitely is a solid side gig because it does contribute to my own business in a way because of the traffic that I get and the way that people interact with stuff. And so, yeah, while it's not a job, but it is a big enough part that now it's like a hobby that does pay some money in the background, which is kind of the best thing you could ask for when it comes to content creation, I think.
But speaking of hobbies,
Yeah.
and the last time we talked, you said I should bring this particular topic up more often because we kind of scratched at it. But I'm glad Andy's here because I would like to ask him. You have a private, more sensual, let's say,
Business.
business.
Yeah.
And what I was going to ask Andy is, I know that you do contribute with that. You were very helpful. Mr. Sir, someone who's so shy doesn't seem to be that shy. He's turning red. I did it.
I love this. I'm so
I
comfortable.
suspect this was planned.
No, not
I didn't plan it.
But I was going to ask Andy, like for others who do get involved in that and things like that, I believe you're a very secure man. You have everything. But how hard is it to know that there are men out there who enjoy her assets, if you will?
That has both been a challenge for me and not. It's been unique to encounter as many individual situations of that in my previous life
You never encountered also in your previous life.
Yep. But like a lot of the stuff about this that would have made me feel insecure or uncomfortable or threatened as a partner, as a man, the nature of my relationship with Sylvia is the antidote to that. We on top of meeting someone who is good and compatible and having a reasonable grasp on adult communication fundamentals, Sylvia and I have both been super deeply hurt in the past by dishonesty. And so for us, honesty is not just like a policy or a strict, it's an obsession. It's a fundamental pillar it's our highest law, and
Yes.
it has existed in a state of totality since the very first time we met. We
Yeah.
have, if you don't,
No, please.
we have a ritualistic,
Oh, yeah.
like daily
Yeah.
series of mantra like questions. We call them the touchstones, and we take honesty in our interpersonal communication, I think, more seriously than anyone I've ever encountered. And that's not that's not a value statement. This is not necessarily always the best thing. A lot of it is tied into Sylvia's past trauma and her obsessive compulsive disorder, which drives the need to check if everything is safe over and over and over and over again.
Totally.
And so wanting to be there for her in the way that no one had ever been able to, I really like embraced that. And we've pursued a radical honesty sort of approach to our daily lives that it makes a lot of situations weird in American culture. I tell her things that a lot of my like coworker friends, I get eyebrows a lot. Like, you say that? Why?
But I get it, because I completely understand, because this is the most open I've ever been in a relationship. Like, I get that. And people always say, but like, there's so many people that are afraid and stuff like that. I could take my phone and leave it on the counter, and she has the password and everything. But see, like, it's like she asked me a question, or like I tell her that I'm going to get a massage, or I'll do this, I'm doing that. Like, I tell her everything. I grew up working in clubs like my entire life, like in security and stuff like that. But so I still have, because of that past, I will still go, but not for the reasons you would think. It's the atmosphere of it, like that music and having a beer in the background. It's just a comfort place. It's a place for me to think. And explaining that to her and like breaking it down, that communication is such a big deal. So yes, I completely understand where you're coming from. Like, we're talking about touchstones and this and that. And I wish more people would have that kind of communications.
Yeah, it would definitely make a lot of relationships easier. It's so interesting for me. I know that this helps me. This is very, like, it's catered to us, our style of communication. And while, I mean, for me, honesty and truth and just being upfront is very important. I see that as a fix for so many issues that so many other couples face. Like, if you were just honest about your needs, about your wants, about your fears, so many things would be like avoided.
Yes,
you know.
But it's also important to remember that that's not something that you can't just do that.
Right.
That's something you have a superpower for, because you just toggled that switch and decided to do that.
Yeah.
And we've worked together for countless hours with and without our therapist on rehearsing that, on picking it up when it goes a little sideways.
Yeah. Totally.
Because, you know, when you tell everything that goes into your head to your partner, is the wording, the intonation, the body language, that's where stuff falls apart. We don't have disagreements or lies between us, but a lot of times I'll say something that I'm feeling in a way that needs to be re-explained, hits her the wrong way, that kind of stuff. But so to bring it all the way back around to your original question, that nature of I know everything that's going on with a kind of certainty that's definitely more than normal, then I don't have a space in which those doubts can even manifest. We've created an atmosphere where that kind of fear literally can't exist. The lights are just on, so there's no shadows.
Well, I have to know this, Sylvia. Is it hard to know that somebody may be watching Andy because he's a bit of a snack? And
no,
they look at Andy and
no, that's not hard for me at all.
A lot of man right there.
There's actually a reason I've been more involved, and it's because of fan feedback that apparently her female fan base.
Oh my God.
Would like to see
it's so fun. Because like I remember when I first started creating my content, my adult content, where it was just me, solo stuff with me, you know, I would say 99% of my customers were straight men or bi men. It was men. But then every now and then I would get a woman who would buy my content. And I'm like, oh, haha, cute. That's really sweet. And then I started featuring Andy. And then now it's like, it went literally from like 1% of my clientele being female up to at least 33%. So like a third of my clientele now are women, which can either be, you know, for me because they're bi or lesbian, or for you because you're absolutely beautiful.
Can we acknowledge the Andy?
And all like, and then I've also gotten so much feedback from like gay men who are like, will Andy ever do solo stuff? I'm like,
will Andy ever do solo stuff?
Yeah,
we've talked about it. You know, this is officially something that I share in, and so the more and more involved that I am, the more fun and comfortable I am in involvement. And it's the other weird thing is that of all the categories of our public facing content, the adult content stuff is the smallest hurdle for me to get over. Somehow, I
find incredible. Like, I mean, like one of the worst dreams anybody can have is being in your boxer shorts at school.
I know. Yeah. I think it's just honestly, it's. See, I'm gonna get a little weird about it now because I'm talking about it with my clothing on, but I think the reality is that it's just the amount of fun and connection that Sylvia and I experience in the bedroom. For me, it makes all that other stuff just sort of disappear. So every interaction with her in that way is just that happening, and the whole universe stops except for that. And I think that's kind of what makes the content good. Yeah. In the same way.
Yeah, totally.
So I think I could find the perfect example. Y'all are friends of Seth Rogen at all?
We like him. Yeah.
Zach and Mary make a porno. Have y'all seen that?
I haven't seen that one.
I saw that years ago.
Did you? Okay, I've never.
So Andy, you'll get this. When Mary and Zach finally make that porno, and they come together, everyone else is shot out. Fuck everybody else. It's just them on a bag of coffee beans doing their thing. So does that equate to what you're saying?
Yeah, that's a portrayal that I think I could resonate with for sure.
I would hope.
Yeah.
I would hope that our performance is better because doesn't it also I remember that it pans out and like it's actually really bad. And they're like, what is happening?
We strive for a finished product that's slightly more consumer ready.
A little bit.
The way it feels, everything's gone.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, like back to your question, if I'm bothered by anyone enjoying him, I'm really comfortable with stuff like that. Like between him and I know that he is my world and I know that I am his world. And I don't care if everybody else enjoys us on the outside. That's fine. That's great. If someone else can get their rocks off because we're awesome, that makes me feel great. That makes me feel so happy. Rad. Cool.
Yeah, that's the other aspect of it is it's oddly impartial in a way. It's compartmentalized anyway, so that we generate that content, we release it, we know what people are doing with it, and that can be a rewarding thing without it being. Yeah. I don't imagine someone watching that content in a way that is sexual for me. That is not why or how I think we're doing it. We're doing it and having fun with it each other. When we rewatch the videos together, we enjoy that. but then it's basically just like if you purchase that and you get I'm looking for a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and so we get a lot of thumbs ups, and it's just like cool, you had fun. Cool.
Yeah, great. It makes me happy that somebody can enjoy watching us have fun.
Some of the weirdos who approach with like extremely elaborate and personal specific custom requests,
there have been some rude people.
I do have veto power and I get a lot of stuff run past me.
Yes.
Sometimes I have to take a second and be like, is that a
that's
threat?
The other
do
thing
I
too
care about that?
It's like anytime I get a number of people who message me asking for custom content. So there's a lot of videos that are public so anybody can purchase that, but then there's some that I don't post because those are custom made, so those are a bit pricier and they're only for that viewer. And like anytime I get anybody who's like, hey, can you do this, I always run it by him because again, like it's about that transparency, right? I'm not gonna film a secret video while he's not around. I'm gonna be like, yo, Andy, I got this request to get covered in slime and call somebody a daddy. Like, what's up? You cool with that? And he'll be like, most of the time he goes, oh yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I think there has been like one or two requests where we've both been like, not comfortable with that one. Yeah. That's a bit too much.
And that's just to follow on to that, the best part I think of what Sylvia has cultivated in her little content corner is her following. I am. Bad content and toxic people exist everywhere. You're never going to find a vacuum of it. But the vast majority of people that are fans and followers and subscribers of Sylvia are so delightful and genuine. I do not have to engage protective boyfriend mode.
Very often.
It's not needed. And so the longer that gun stays in the holster, the more relaxed I feel around the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
So in that same breath, Sylvia has been known to take care of business when needed. If someone has attacked her, like, you know, her race, religion, whatever it may be, they come at her. Hey, you work here, blah, blah.
Yep.
Recently, Andy has contributed in that same realm. How did that feel, being able to come and be that?
People loved seeing you get mad.
Yeah, it is nice. It's like Dark Andy's pretty cool.
Oh, goodness. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I strive for an evolved, restrained version of Dark Andy.
Funny, but funny. Got to be funny.
Yeah, gotta be funny. Gotta be funny. I lost it for a second there. Yeah, the reality is, I have a lot of anger in my past.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of reflexes around the way that anger used to be communicated that are not part of my modern toolkit. And so we actually just talked about this. We had an interaction with a big asshole at the dog park, and Sylvia steeled herself and smoothed her exterior and began to choose nonviolent words to use to express how the interaction had made her feel, so that this person would know that their bad behavior had been noticed. And I wanted to go home.
Andy's, so if you don't mind me chiming in, you are a little bit more sensitive when it comes to confrontation, right? Would that be
the way I
accurate?
experience it is I don't like it because I can't do it a little bit in general. I struggle with,
yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If conflict mode engages, then I become much less fun, and it's really hard to dial back to normal, and it really rattles me. And so the reflexes around those kind of interactions have skewed toward avoid at all costs.
I love confrontation. I seek that shit out. You're going to be an asshole in front of me. Ooh, I'm going to let you know, because I don't like when people get away with being shitty people. That is such a huge injustice for me. I have this obsessive need to notice when somebody's being a bigot and be like, I'm going to say something, because one, maybe it'll humble this person and they will actually learn, and it will be something that helps them become a better person because they realize that they did something wrong. Or two, if they come off like, whatever, you're just being a bitch, and they're trying to come off like it doesn't affect them that I called them out, that's a lie, because I know that later on that evening, they're going to have that moment replay in their head because they're a human being who has extremely low self-esteem, and then they're going to rot in their misery. And I love that too. So either way, it's a win-win.
Have you ever watched How I Met Your Mother?
No, we haven't gotten to that one yet.
You need to check it out, because you two are definitely a Marshall and a Lily.
Okay.
There was an episode where Lily is what's the actress's name? Allison Hannigan.
Okay.
And Marshall is
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel?
There you go.
Segel. There you go. Jason Segel. And so Marshall's very, he's big fudge. He keeps himself, does his thing.
Yeah.
Lily is a kindergarten teacher who takes no shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
But they complement each other so well.
Yeah.
But I get Andy's perspective on that, because, like I said, once you open that door, once you open Pandora's box, it's very hard to close it. And I don't like to be pissed off. I really don't, because I know what entails in that.
Sure.
I know when I get pissed off and you've hurt somebody that I care about, only that person can close that box. You're not going to close that fucking box. You opened it. Now my foot's going in your ass.
Yeah.
So she's going to have to close it.
Right.
And maybe she doesn't want to close it just yet. And so it's like, because I can't. Once we've gone there, it's on.
Yeah.
So I get Andy like, let's go home.
Right.
Sylvia, let's go home. It's not about any bit of fear. It's not any cowardice. It's like, I know what I'm going to do to you.
Yeah.
Sure.
I need to go home.
Yeah.
And that's, we work on that, like we work on everything in therapy, because Sylvia's instincts there are what we're both trained to do, what we're supposed to be working on more, because the fact that my anger used to go all the way to 100 and get stuck there is a product of my upbringing, a product of my past, a
Yeah.
product of the fact that I never exercised the emotional muscles around doing it differently. So it's, you know, that was an example where her reflexes were correct, and I needed to take a second and calm mine down. So it was a good exercise for us.
I have to stop real quick and just say this is the most adorable thing I've seen the entire fucking recording we've been doing here. You've been nuzzling her and you've been picking little hairs of her, and she's doing the same of you.
Yep.
Y'all are fucking adorable.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we're like fixing
Grooming
each other.
instincts are
Yeah.
strong. Primate love is visible from any aspect. Yep.
Yeah, I can't sit steady knowing that someone's being an ass and like getting away with it. Like I said, I find it like it's my job to inform this person, because how else is shit going to change too? Like, the reason why so many people get away with their shit behavior, and the reason why manners don't exist anymore, and the reason why common courtesy isn't common anymore, is because nobody's actually like correcting people and being like, hey, that's actually not a cool way to do that. May I suggest another method? Like, that's the only way things are going to get better, if there are people who like try to actively solve the problem.
And I mean, there's
you know,
there's work being done to improve that. There's new terminology for common sense things, like being an active bystander is something that people are told to do now. That's terminology that exists in the community, because I think the inclination to avoid conflict has created a space where certain people
get away
have
with
more
it.
range to be bad actors. And
so
yeah, Sylvia responds to that by pendulum swinging entirely the other way.
Hell yeah. And I always have.
The best way I could equate it is, and I think if you'll get this reference, Sylvia is the unicorn wizard and you are Princess Handjob. So
I actually don't. A reference I don't get.
Yeah, what?
What's that from?
Ninja Sex Party?
Oh my god, that's right. That's
Oh.
why the unicorn wizard. I was like, I think he's referencing that, but I was not paying attention.
Ninja Brian's alter ego is Princess Handjob.
He is absolutely Ninja Brian, though, especially during that live show. You have the eyes for it. You have the eyes for it.
But you can't ever cover up that mustache. It's part of the deal.
I know, right?
It's a rare occurrence.
This happens. You know what? It's happened both times now. Like, we've already almost to an hour, and it's just been flying by. Like, Andy, you are just a joy. You're a treat, and I'm so glad. And I love that you showed up in a full-on jumpsuit. I think this is.
This is is it?
It wasn't meant to be. It's not a set. Those are Cowboy Bebop sweats and the t-shirts from one of our favorite YouTubers.
Yeah,
it looks like it goes together perfectly.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. She is the most fashionable person I've ever known. She dresses me very well.
Have you seen her TikToks? Like, she's
Oh, thank you. I try. I've always been an eccentric dresser.
But yeah, thank you. You've been a wonderful, dynamic host and so complimentary. It's been an effort not to just completely noodle inside myself. So thank you.
Well, my thing is, this is about you. Like, I ultimately, I'll hope that gets over with other people that see, like, Andy, you're a human being. You're hilarious. You're a funny guy. You're not just the TikTok this, and you're not just her partner in her erotic escapades. You are Andy.
And he should start making his own TikToks. People want him to make.
I would love that, or even start doing your own YouTube Shorts. Because like I said, if you work your way in there, man. Like I said,
I'll say this much publicly. I have 2 drafts in my TikTok app.
He's got some ideas.
It will happen eventually.
Eventually, he will have his own content.
And I'll say this: you can't fail when you have the support of a beautiful, lovely human being who cares about you as much as you. And that's both of you. Neither of you can fail because you have that. Both of you holding each other up.
Oh, sure.
And you have a fan base that just
we're each other's biggest fans too. You know, and like that's the other thing is.
If no one
ever looks at my stuff, whatever. If no one ever looks at yours, whatever. I made you fucking laugh, so that's done.
Exactly, and that's what it comes down. You know? That being said, I asked you this last time. I'm going to ask Andy this time. Andy, where do you see your guys' stuff in 3 to 5 years?
I would love. 3 to 5 years. In 3 to 5 years, I would love to be in a position where Sylvia and I can fuel our own creative endeavors with the documentation of them alone. I would like for both of us to not have to work for the man.
Yeah.
And to pay all of our bills with the wonderful creative things we both feel like doing. My William Osman is a big personal hero. Mark Rober. these guys that have developed their charismatic presentation of simple, fun projects to the point where that's their brand identity. That's their actual lot in life. I would love to build a house somewhere in the forest, large concrete slabs, something called eco-brutalism that Sylvia has recently discovered with plants and stuff. I want to do micro hydro. I'd love to have a solar system, and I want to draw these things on whiteboards and talk about the wiring. And
Andy is a very smart man who should be an engineer, and so he could absolutely have a YouTube channel where he is inventing stuff and building stuff. He is a very, very
Andy. She's right. You're like you can just.
There's like a genius brain.
I will make a suggestion. It was after we talked, we had an idea, and we bought a tiny home, as you can see.
I was gonna ask.
You did
the floor plan behind you. Yeah.
It is the best decision we've ever made. It was a dream. We saw somebody on TikTok of all things who bought it, who made a tiny home. I settled all my debt. We moved out here in the country, and it's harder because you'll have a lot of stuff to condense down to that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something like if you really want to just stop your ecological footprint.
Yeah.
And tiny home is the way to go. And like
how big is the home that you got, if I may ask? How tiny is it?
399 square feet.
Woo! Wow.
Yes.
Do you have real plumbing, or are you pooping in an incinerator?
No, it's real plumbing. Like it's all
okay.
And then how's your electric? Are you on the grid or are you generating?
We are not generating. I would love to get to the point where we could do that, but we're on the grid at the moment. We're in a community. It's like being at summer camp. It's amazing.
Oh, a little tiny house pod somewhere?
Yes. Like
fun. Right on.
And it's enough for Cujo over here to be happy, so we're good. I have he's a half poodle, half Pyrenees. He's a monster, but I like him.
Congratulations. That sounds so fun. I looked a lot into tiny home and van life stuff. We ended up going a different way and found this wonderful home and put a down payment on it together. But I love the small footprint living. That's really cool. For me. Congratulations.
That being said, I have enjoyed this so much. Sylvia, you're a joy. You're just wonderful.
Thank
Andy,
you.
You are everything I thought you would be and more. You are
from
the facial hair to that big old brain of yours to other assets that you made.
Oh gosh.
Turn your face red has been a joy today. We're gonna close it out. Hang tight and we'll end it out, okay?
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
No problem.